Carlos Alcaraz is into the quarterfinals of Wimbledon once again after defeating Andrey Rublev in 4 sets. Even though Alcaraz lost the first set 6-7, he bounced back and he won the next set 6-3 and the last 2 sets 6-4. The match began as a tense and physical battle, with Rublev setting the tone early through aggressive baseline hitting and a relentless pace off the forehand. Alcaraz, who took some time to find his footing, dropped the opening set in a close tiebreak and looked briefly unsettled. But as the match went on, the 21-year-old's tactical maturity and physical sharpness took over. The turning point came in the second set. Alcaraz began anticipating Rublev's patterns, reading the angles better, and absorbing pace instead of trying to match it. He cleaned up his unforced errors and started dominating behind his first serve. His footwork also sharpened, allowing him to stretch rallies and slowly wear Rublev down. The defending champion adjusted not just physically, but mentally. After the match, Alcaraz gave some great insight into what was happening on court. Andrey is one of the most powerful, if not the most powerful player we have on tour. Without a doubt, Alcaraz said. With that aggression with the ball, that forehand, those shots, it's really difficult. To face him is kind of, you feel he's pushing you to the limit every ball running side to side. That makes him very difficult to face. I'm really happy with the way I moved today. I think I played smart, intelligently today tactically. I'm really proud about that. That quote says a lot, not only about Rublev's power, but about how Alcaraz approached the match. It wasn't about overpowering Rublev, it was about playing smarter. From the second set onward, he returned serve deeper, stayed more compact on the baseline, and refused to give Rublev the quick points he thrives on. When Rublev tried to take control of the rallies, Alcaraz redirected pace and punished short balls with precision down the line. By the third set, the balance had shifted fully. Alcaraz broke early, then maintained that lead by playing clean service games. He used variety, occasionally mixing in slice backhands and drop shots to disrupt Rublev's rhythm. The Spaniard also won 75% of his net approaches, showcasing his growing confidence moving forward. The fourth set followed the same pattern, a single early break, then lockdown tennis from the baseline to close it out. What made the performance impressive wasn't just the shot making, which is expected at this level. It was the control. Alcaraz didn't panic after losing the first set. He took his time, studied Rublev's approach, and methodically dismantled it. His unforced errors dropped significantly after the opening set, and he hit 43 winners to just 21 errors by the end. Alcaraz also stayed composed in the big moments, saving both breakpoints he faced and converting 3 of 5 on Rublev's serve. Mentally, he stayed locked in. Physically, he looked fresher as the match wore on, even though Rublev pushed the tempo from start to finish. Before this match, Alcaraz had an average of 9 aces per match, but in this one, Alcaraz finished with a very impressive 22 aces, showcasing just how much he has improved his serve. This result not only sends Alcaraz to the quarterfinals, but also sends a clear message to the rest of the draw. He's adapting, learning, and sharpening each round. If his first few matches at Wimbledon were about shaking off rust, this one showed he's fully locked in. And with Jannik Sinner still cruising through the other half of the draw, the prospect of a blockbuster semi-final between the world #1 and the defending champion becomes more likely by the day. But before that, Alcaraz has more work to do, and based on what we saw against Rublev, he's peaking at just the right time. What also stood out was how composed Alcaraz looked even after losing the first set. Many younger players, especially when facing someone as explosive as Rublev, tend to rush, overhit, or mentally spiral, but Alcaraz did none of that. He stayed patient, trusted the process, and took control of the match without letting emotion dictate his play. He gave some comments about how he recovered being 1 set down to, as he said, one of the most powerful players on tour. It's about belief in yourself. It does not matter if you are a set down. Tennis is a sport in which 1 point can change anything, to turn around everything, so you have to be strong mentally. I knew he was going to be strong in the first set, so I knew I had to keep going and to make most of the chances I got. Carlos Alcaraz's victory over Andrey Rublev wasn't just about advancing to the next round. It was a performance that underlined his growing tactical maturity, staying mentally strong, and it shows that he is ready to go far in this tournament. Today was never just about the fireworks and flashy shot making. It was about staying calm, adjusting mid-match, and outthinking an opponent who thrives on rhythm and power. That's what separates a great player from a true champion, and it's becoming increasingly clear that Alcaraz is bridging that gap more confidently than ever. Rublev, known for overwhelming opponents with relentless forehands and flat baseline aggression, simply couldn't find the space to dominate once Alcaraz raised his level. Unfortunately, he now is a holder of a very bad statistic statistic, becoming the only player in history to have lost in a Grand Slam quarterfinals 10 times without reaching the semi-final. But as we said, Rublev played well, and it wasn't just Alcaraz who acknowledged that. After the match, when Rublev went to sign autographs, kids in the crowd kept telling him he played well, which was a very touching moment. It has to be said, this version of Rublev is one of the best in recent memory, and if he continues with this attitude, he can be a wild card for the upcoming US Tour. And that is why it is so impressive how the Spaniard held himself this game. He is matured, he is no longer the teenage phenom trying to outmuscle opponents. He's becoming the guy who breaks down a game plan and rebuilds his own in real time. This version of Carlos Alcaraz feels like a different athlete compared to the one who won Wimbledon last year. Yes, the energy and shot making are still there, but now there's a quieter side to his game, a more calculated edge. He's not going for the highlight reel every point. He's picking his moments, constructing rallies, and forcing his opponents to make difficult choices under pressure. That kind of evolution is rare, especially in players this young, and especially in 5-set matches. He is one of the rare players where it does not seem to affect him if he loses his first set. He just keeps grinding, and especially excels in those long points where the opponent gets tired, makes a mistake, while Alcaraz is laser perfect. His movement too continues to be a weapon. Rublev hits some of the heaviest ground strokes on tour, and yet Alcaraz seemed to glide from side to side, retrieving impossible balls and resetting rallies. But it wasn't just defense. His counterpunching ability, especially when absorbing pace and sending it back with interest, made Rublev second guess even the shots he usually commits to with full confidence. As the tournament heads into its final stretch, Alcaraz is sending a message, not just to the draw, but to the rest of the tennis world. With Novak Djokovic still in the mix and Jannik Sinner performing like a machine in the top half, this year's Wimbledon is quietly setting the stage for a generational showdown. Alcaraz, still only 21, now looks like the most complete grass court player outside of Djokovic, and that's a conversation we wouldn't have been having 12 months ago. Meanwhile, Andrey Rublev's loss continues a frustrating pattern at Grand Slams. He's one of the most consistent top 10 players on tour, but again, he finds himself stopped before the truly elite rounds. Despite flashes of brilliance and a first set that showed real fight, the lack of a plan B cost him again. Against someone like Alcaraz, who adapts quickly and thrives in chaos, Rublev's one-dimensional approach fell short. Alcaraz's next opponent will require different preparation, but this match will give him confidence that he's finding form at the perfect moment. The physical and mental energy he's been managing over the course of the tournament now looks more calculated than cautious. He hasn't played perfectly all tournament, but against Rublev, he found something closer to that gear. And the Wimbledon crowd is responding. There's something about Alcaraz's charisma, his mix of youthful confidence and humble focus, that's making him a crowd favorite again. It's not just the energy or the fist pumps, it's the way he carries himself in tight moments. It's the joy he brings to the court even when the pressure is high. In the end, this match may not be the most remembered of the tournament, but it could be one of the most important for Alcaraz himself. He handled pressure, he changed strategy mid-match, he beat one of the most dangerous hitters on tour in convincing fashion, and in doing so, he reminded everyone why he's not just the future of tennis, he's already at the top of it.